All right, and welcome back to Episode 4 of the Alec Frengos Show. This is a sports podcast centered around NBA and NFL. I'm joined up front with Jay Price to my right, Ryan McKellar to my right, and to my left, Adam Eicholz coming in again. Today we're going to be going over NBA Finals Game 3 and 4, Chris Paul destinations, Dalvin Cook destinations, Raptors' new head coach and direction, what should the Trailblazers do with the number 3 pick, would you rather multiple players, and which rookie quarterback is in the best situation. All right, and first we're going to start with NBA Finals Game 3 and 4. Game 4 just wrapped up yesterday, and what are your first thoughts on the game? I'm going to start with you, Adam.
I feel like the series is over. It's going to be over in 5, but I feel like in Game 3 and 4, the main thing with the Heat just not playing well is just their offense. They won't, like, their leading scorer is like Bam and Jimmy with like 20.
Yep.
And no one else is stepping up. Caleb Martin, Max Strus, all those guys, like, against the Celtics and the Bucks, like, they were stepping up. They just are now, and there's just not enough.
Jay, go ahead.
For Game 3, Jokic and Murray, obviously two triple doubles in the same game is crazy. I just think their offense is so good and so consistent. Like, Game 2 is just like an outlier, honestly. They've been consistent all playoffs and been playing really well. And then Game 4, Aaron Gordon just absolutely took over. And I kind of thought that would happen because they don't really have a good matchup for him. They had Martin on him most of the game, but Aaron Gordon's a more physical player, and he kind of showed why he's a veteran in the league. Yeah, I think
that matchup has a big effect on how the series has gone. I feel like not finding a matchup from Gordon, this was almost the same as Game 1. They started off with small guys on Aaron Gordon, and then he just dominated the first couple minutes, and then they did the same thing today for some reason, which clearly didn't work. But what are your reactions on the game?
To me, I think especially I didn't watch much Game 3. Game 4, though, Jimmy Butler being too much of a facilitator.
Okay.
I think he's supposed to be your main guy. He's supposed to get you the points, as he's surrounded by role players. So he's supposed to go out there and give you 30 a game in the playoffs. If Jokic is doing it on the other end,
correct.
He's passing first too much. A couple times I was seeing him being a corner sitter, and I was kind of shocked by that. Then the role players were starting to collapse this series. Bruce Brown on the other end, one of their role players, coming off the bench with 21, I think it was, in Game 4.
Yep.
And
took over the fourth quarter.
Gabe Vincent, I think he got his first bucket, I think, like, either late in the first half or in the second half. So as him being your point guard, getting, 5 points or something around that is not enough.
No, I think Gabe Vincent actually had 2 points.
2 points.
2 points, and Max Strus 0.
I think it was the same thing in Game 3. Gabe only had 2 or something like that.
Yeah, so clearly the problem with the Heat is their offense. I think their defense hasn't been great either, but I feel like with the Aaron Gordon matchup, it's just something I feel like you can fix, and you have the personnel to. I feel like Kevin Love coming off the bench had a pretty big impact where he made some shots and he was getting rebounds too. I feel like him and Gordon are similar, right? They both can stretch the floor, and they're both pure power forwards, honestly. And I'm surprised that Eric Spoelstra didn't go to Bam Adebayo, Kevin Love on at the same time, because Bam Adebayo's taken a lot of jump shots recently, and he's been able to spread the floor a little bit. And Kevin Love, obviously, he's made a couple threes every time he's played. So I feel like watching the game, that's what I was expecting Eric Spoelstra to go to. I thought he was going to go to the double center front court, and kind of try and take away Aaron Gordon and make someone else get hot, which Bruce Brown eventually did and didn't, which had an impact on sealing the win for the Nuggets. But I think the problem right now with the Heat is Jimmy Butler. Like you said, he's not getting the ball, catch, and score. He wants to be this guy that's passing to all his teammates who haven't been able to score the whole series. So they've gotten this whole way because of Jimmy Butler, and now he just wants to ease off the gas pedal and dish it out to other guys, which obviously isn't the way of winning. You're trying to let Kyle Lowry go out there and give you 25, which isn't going to work. Tyler Hero hasn't came back, which doesn't help. Duncan Robinson, Ghost, Max Strus. Worst series of his career. Gabe Vincent was scoring 15 each game. Absolutely disappeared. And Bam Adebayo has been the heartbeat of the team the whole series and is lucky they haven't got swept.
Yeah, I don't want to sit here and trash Bam because he had a good series, but couple shots, big shots that he needs to make. Sometimes doesn't make them running floaters or hook layups. He's missing, but no, he's been probably the two-man on the Heat this series. But I think the Heat defense is lacking. I don't know, game 5 here, Eric Spoelstra I think has to switch up some matchups because Max Strus is. I don't want to.
He shouldn't see the floor. I don't think.
Bash players at all, but he's a liability on defense.
And he starts to. Like he can't be starting when he's playing like that. He's not even making shots, and he can't even play defense.
No, so they're going to Vincent point, Strus shooting guard, Butler small forward, and who do they have at power forward? Kevin Love.
Martin.
No, Martin. Yeah, they started Martin power forward, and then Bam at center. So let's go through the lineup. I'd like to see, in my ideal starting 5-game lineup, I'd like to see Lowry point guard. I think you just got to go to the guys that know. Lowry point guard, Butler shooting guard. I'd go Robinson small forward or whatever, shooting guard, small forward, Butler. You can switch it in and out. You just need a floor spacer. I'd go Kevin Love and Bam in the front court. I think you need the size right out of the gate to stop Aaron Gordon because that's the guy who's been attacking you all series and giving Jokic these 10 assists. How many assists has Jokic got off Aaron Gordon touch passes to the rim where he just catches them and throws them up? Multiple. I think going big in the front court and then having veterans there with a floor space with Robinson will really help. What do you think you'd like to see in the starting lineup?
There's not much the Heat really can do because it's not like they're going to go out there and start that Hayward Highsmith. So there's not too much they can change, but I think it's just letting Jimmy Butler go for 40. Let him control the pace of the whole game. I think the Heat offense, their pace is slow. As soon as they get past half, they just like to calm down.
Yeah.
They let the Nuggets set up, which it's kind of tough when they're a bigger team, and you're just letting them set up in their defense. It's harder to generate shots.
They just wait for the last opportunity to shoot. Yeah. Jay, what are you looking for? Sorry. Go ahead.
No, Lowry. I think you got to start Lowry.
Okay.
Veteran presence.
I agree with everything you said. I think it's worth a shot to start Kevin Love because anyone that they've put on Aaron Gordon has been not effective, and someone's always been hot on the Nuggets. I think they have to go back to what they did in Game 2, make Jokic score the ball and don't pass the ball, and just try. That's the only way they can win, is if Jokic can't distribute the ball.
Yeah.
So
I think it's not about making other players beat you. I think it's about making only Jokic beat you.
Yeah.
I think that's a key. That's going to happen. Adam, what are you looking for the Heat to get a couple games here?
I definitely agree with that starting lineup, but I think Robinson and Caleb Martin could be switched.
Okay.
I think Caleb Martin is better on defense.
Yeah, he is better defensively.
But I have down here, for Miami's defense, it's just so hard to stop Murray and Jokic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because you got Jokic who can finish inside, mid-range. He shot almost half-court shot at 3 last night.
Chucking.
And Murray's just on fire. He's doing his thing. It's just so hard to stop that duo.
Yeah, it's honestly hard to stop this whole team, especially when you go in the fourth quarter and it's a close game and Michael Malone is saying, Bruce Brown, go ISO and get me some buckets. That's what's scary, and that's what's made the Denver Nuggets unstoppable. Although Jokic has had these crazy stat games, there's always been a key piece each game that's came and stepped up for them. Each and every game they've won throughout these playoffs, I feel like.
Yeah, you're right.
Anyways, going into the next topic, Chris Paul, he hasn't officially been released, but it sounds like he'll be moving on from the Phoenix Suns. I want to hear your guys' top destination for Chris Paul in 2023-2024 season. I'm going to start with Jay.
Okay. Well, I don't think this team will trade for him, but I do think that it would be a really good pickup because we've already seen it happen before. It's OKC. I think that's a really young team. He took them to the playoffs when nobody thought they would be good.
Conference semifinals.
I think that was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And they
in
were
the bubble.
They're expected to be the worst team in the league. They come in. Shea's first year in OKC.
Yeah, since the trade.
And I just think with all the young players you got there, you got Chet coming back, you got probably a top 15 pick in the draft. I think he'd be a great mentor, and I think he'd be a great piece to add. We've seen it work before, so I don't know why it wouldn't work again.
Thoughts?
I was gonna say, for him at his age, it would make sense for him to go on like a good team and want to
Win now.
win. So like the Lakers, maybe like backup point guard on like the Bucks or something like that.
Backup.
Oh, if Drew Holiday's playing,
He
I
could
think
be
you
sick,
could. I
man.
think you could put him at the 2. You think? Do you see
He
Chris
could play like
on a
Lowry,
con-
Lowry role, like a Lowry type role.
and like a
I would-
backup.
So would
no,
you
it's a bad
right now, in your opinion, is Kyle Lowry better than Chris Paul, or do you think?
No, Chris Paul's better.
I think Chris Paul's
I
better.
think he should be starting.
But I think Chris
he
Paul
could
on a
play sixth
championship
man.
team can still be a starting point
Yeah.
guard. He's got the elite facilitating, obviously. He's very underrated defensively for his size. He'll get you steals. I feel like Chris Paul could obviously contribute to a championship team in a pretty big way still. And I think this behind the Suns releasing Chris Paul here, Frank Vogel and the new owner Matt Ishbia, I think they're gonna want to go more defensive around Devin Booker and Durant. They have the offense like you saw in the playoffs, right? But you need guys to get on the other end and get stops for you in and out. So guys that could lock down on the perimeter inside and stretch the floor. I think that's what they're going to try to focus around, like people saying James Harden to Phoenix. I don't see it.
Yeah, that's not
They don't need
gonna-
another
No.
mess up like that where the Brooklyn situation. I think Phoenix surrounding themselves like wing assets and other stuff like that will really help them be successful around 2 pretty generational scorers. So give me go on.
Hold on. I was just gonna say too, but it all depends because he could also go to a team like the Knicks or the Cavs, just kind of like a young team, but that just kind of needs like a veteran to kind of lead them,
Yeah.
or like OKC,
Yeah.
or just you know what I mean. I think it just all kind of depends. Like if he's a free agent, it just kind of depends on what he wants to do.
Give me your destination.
Okay, so my destination, Minnesota Timberwolves. I just think is at this point you're not asking for Chris Paul to go out and get you even just 25 points. He's a facilitator at this age. So obviously the offense is built around Anthony Edwards and Karl Anthony Towns.
Yep.
Then you got the big towers there with Gobert and
Towns.
Gobert.
But I think Chris Paul just being able to facilitate and get the ball to those 2 shooters. Anthony Edwards, who's a tempo pusher, he's a aggressive guard forward. So I think that'd be a great spot. My long shot would honestly be the Heat. I think just
Okay, flight.
I think just being
Somewhere like the Heat.
a veteran guard. So this allows Butler to be more aggressive.
Oladipo coming back next year.
And then it just make your bench be an extreme shooting threat, because then you could move Strus to the bench, or you could move Martin to the bench, and it just gives your team more depth.
My landing spot, I thought about it. I said, what team needs a veteran point guard that can facilitate the floor, score a little bit, and provide leadership to a team? And there's a specific team that stood out to me, and I think it is the Toronto Raptors. You don't know their direction yet, if they want to reset and rebuild, or they want to go all in for a couple seasons. We're going to get into that later, but I think, what have the Raptors been missing since they lost Kyle Lowry? Pure point guard, floor general, who just is the heartbeat of your team. Van Vliet is not that.
He was supposed to be. But
He was supposed to be that, but he wasn't. He's a bench player, Van Vliet. He's not a starting point guard on a contending team. And I think Chris Paul, coming into this very young Raptors team, will be able to distribute to these young athletic wings, OG, Pascal, Achua, Koloko, all those guys that are here, and bring leadership that he can mentor. I feel like Chris Paul is maybe the Raptors' missing piece to advance these players in their development. He can unlock a lot of these players. He's one of the best playmakers of all time. Top 10 in my opinion. He will be able to help Scotty Barnes, Siakam. He'll take a lot of pressure when you see Siakam bringing up the ball in the middle of games. There's no need for that. He's your top scorer. He doesn't need to bring up the ball, pass it off, and then get back in the post. You need Chris Paul to, like I said, be the floor general of a team that really has no direction. But you'll completely have to see how it plays out.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I think Van Vliet was too scoring centered for them to be anything. I think that I kind of overlooked the Raptors, to be honest, as a destination. But if they keep the core together, like if they keep OG, Barnes, Siakam, and then they got Koloko obviously developing, I think it's a great add because you're not asking them to score.
Nope.
You're just asking them to lead the team and pass the ball and get guys open. And I think that's what he does best. And I honestly think that the Raptors, even if they're not super successful, they will be internally because I think it will definitely help the players develop, as you said.
Might not show up in the record, but I think that, like he did to the Thunder team, he could have.
Exactly,
Nobody obviously knows what happens, but that could have been a big reason Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is who he is now. For point guard to point guard, that's a huge mentor to have, Chris Paul.
Yeah.
Give me your thoughts.
I think realistically, like it makes sense for him to be on the team,
But you just don't see it happening.
Just because the Raptors aren't really like a big market team.
No, yeah.
And if Chris Paul's a free agent, he would not want to sign there.
And
Sadly.
Yeah.
I just think it's got to be a contender that he goes to. I think especially if he's getting traded, I don't think a young team that is still...
I don't see the Raptors trading for him.
No,
though.
even if he's a free agent, I still think he'd want to sign him with a contender because, CP3 doesn't have a ring.
That's true.
I think he wants his ring, so I think it has to be a contender
that
he can come in and be a starter and just help lead a team to a championship. Him going to a team that's still half in a rebuild. One, I don't think doing a half rebuild, half go for a championship is a good solution.
Yeah, I think you either got to we're going to get into that later anyways, but so you think if you were to call it championship contender or kind of like a in the middle team, I feel like he won't want money, but I feel like
I think he'd have to go. He wants to go to a contender.
Me and Jay, we both had teams kind of on the rise to be that mentor kind of guy, but I think deep down inside he's gonna want to chase a ring though.
Yeah.
But I feel like for fit wise, obviously, some of them aren't contenders, right? But I feel like the Raptors would be a really good fit for him and what he can do to the franchise impact-wise.
Yeah, it just depends on what he wants. Also, one team I just thought of, too, that I think he actually could go to is if he returned to the Clippers, too. I think that'd be a great team to go to.
I was actually thinking Clippers, but...
Who's their starting point guard right now? Westbrook, yeah.
I feel like you could plug them both in the lineup at once, but
it's just like the shooting.
But they're both so ball dominant.
Westbrook's kind of a sixth man guy now,
honestly,
though. Because Bones Highland's there, I feel like he'd just get buried though in the depth chart.
True.
But yeah, that is it. That's an interesting one.
Yeah,
I don't really know. What do you think about the Clippers?
I think it would make sense, but just like having him and Westbrook in the same lineup, I don't think that would work whatsoever because Westbrook is the playmaker. And he can't really shoot.
Westbrook's a brick now.
Yeah.
So his shot's solid, but it's not like really good. Chris Paul is kind of the same thing, but his shot is better. Just having those two guys on the same court, I don't think that would work whatsoever.
Yeah, they'd have to bring Westbrook off the bench.
It's definitely a destination, but it's kind of like the Raptors. I don't hate the fit, but do I see it happening? No, I don't. But going into the Raptors topic a little bit, I want you guys to tell me, what is their direction going forward? What do you believe they should do that's the best for them? What do you think?
I've been saying this for like the last 2 years. I've been saying trade Siakam and Fred. And both of them have been an all-star there. Siakam's been all NBA. They won a championship. There's nothing really else for them to prove. Yeah. I just think them being there is just kind of pointless.
Yeah.
And I think Pascal, his trade package, his trade value would be really good. And I feel like you could get something really good back in return.
Who's to go from the Raptors and who's to stay? Tell me right now. OG, Scotty, Van Vliet, Pascal, those four.
Just those four?
Who do you want to see? Because that's the core, kind of.
Well, obviously Scotty.
Stay.
Keep him.
Okay.
I want to see OG stay. I feel like his game could be taken to another level if Pascal's not there.
Okay.
Because Pascal just takes so many shots.
Yeah.
And OG, I feel like he could be a way better player just if he doesn't have those guys there. I want to see Trent stay. Because when he first came, he was he had those 240 point games.
And very inconsistent, though.
And then
Gives me Danny Green flashbacks.
Danny Green.
Danny Green, that's
Same thing.
cool.
I just feel like last year he didn't really have like a good chance. Like Nurse just didn't play him whatsoever.
No, he did not. Get
I would definitely give him another chance.
Yeah. Okay.
So like I would say Barnes, OG, Trent, like Achua, like those guys.
Like obvious. So you'd want to see Siakam and Van
Fred.
Vliet gone.
Yeah.
Okay. So who do you want to see gone from the route? Well, what's your direction first off?
First off, I think Fred needs to go. I don't know why he was even there last year. I feel like he's just hurting everyone's development because
He is.
he's just carrying the ball. He's taking shots. Like he's a good player, but he's not a fit as of right now. And it
No,
sucks
he's
to
not.
say because he's being an awesome player for the Raptors. But
Yeah.
honestly, I think I agree with Siakam too. I think he's almost at his peak in his play right now, and I think they could get a lot of stuff from him. It's just hard for the Raptors to just kind of hover around that bubble of being a playoff team because it's a bad place to be because you're not going to get any better really, but you're not going to get any worse. So it's kind of you're stuck in the dead zone. So I think Siakam for sure and Van Vliet, but I do agree with what you said, Adam, about OG. I think they definitely should keep him and obviously Scotty because I think OG has a lot more to prove. I think he'll be even better next year if they get rid of those two.
Ryan.
I think, to be honest, it's either you get to choose whether you want to go for a championship now or just worry about development. Because I think having OG, Pascal, and even Achua, it's kind of hurting Scotty's development. Because he's kind of getting shadowed behind them.
He is.
He's not given the numbers what he was projected. Like people are kind of starting to call him a bust, but I don't see it because he hasn't really gotten the opportunity, and I think you got to start to build around him. You got a first round pick now, and if you trade Siakam, you'll for sure get a first round pick out of him. Depends on what team it goes to. You could get an early first this year maybe, and then you could just take your guard, build around Scotty and that first round pick. I just don't really see them if they keep the team now. I don't see them being any type of contender. They'll be a borderline playoff team.
Yeah.
So I think you just got to start to get into a rebuild. I think the only untouchables are Scotty and OG, to be honest. I think everyone else you can get rid of in trades. I don't know if Fred's a free agent or not next season, but
After this season,
But-
he will be.
but wouldn't give him any type of coins. So I think it's just starting to get into a rebuild.
Okay. I think for the Raptors, I think it is rebuild. Well, I don't want to say fully rebuild. I want to say it's retool. I want to say you trade Van Vliet, but you keep everybody else. I think Siakam, you're going to need him down the road as a second scorer to contend like he was for Kawhi. You need to find that point guard with the same identity as Kyle Lowry. Heartbeat, score 15 to 20 max. Be gritty defensively, and you got to be a good leader for the locker room. I think the Raptors, though, they're in the same situation. They always find prospects that are going to come up on the rise. They're always on those players. Achua, they kind of got him for nothing in the Lowry sign and trade.
Yep.
You weren't really expecting much. They got him, who's been probably our best bench player. They've got Koloko. They still got to develop. They've got, obviously, Scotty, who has to have the key to the franchise sometime soon. And I think the Raptors are going to be in the same situation as they were in 2019 a couple of years from now. I think they're going to be in a position where they going to have to give up OG, Scotty, or Pascal, one of the three, for a superstar. They're going to have the whole team ready to go, and I think they're going to do it again. I feel like the fact of knowing you're one piece away, once you do that once, I feel like it's going to get contagious. I feel like the Raptors are going to try to do the same thing. You're going to wait for the big move in like 2 to 3 years. All those guys that just got Supermaxes are going to be off contracts. Giannis, Jokic, Doncic, etc. All the young guys coming up, and maybe you see on one of the last years of their deal, a big trade. You got to do what Kawhi came in here did. Play like an MVP, win us a championship, and we'll see what goes next. But I think the Raptors fully don't reset what they have right now because they've got some key young pieces. And I think further down the line, that won't backfire. And I think just getting rid of Van Vliet right now, as I think we can all agree on, is the right option because it's his time to definitely go.
Yeah.
What do you think? Do you think like the Raptors should make that move for a star in the next coming years, or do you think it's
I say you gotta wait like a couple years at least. Like I don't really think it's like a major like issue of the team, like not having a star.
yeah?
But I think if you do just keep that core of like Scotty, OG,
Yep.
and all like the young guys, and you're not really like seeing them grow in the next few years, I think you would have to go for a superstar eventually. But in the next couple years, I wouldn't make it like a big like issue.
Okay. So, next topic we're going to get into is Portland Trailblazers have the number 3 pick, and they're stuck in middle land right now. They've got a superstar who's still playing at an elite level, Damian Lillard, your guy, and then they've got the number 3 pick. So, Portland Trailblazers can either reset it all, or they can give another run at not even another run. They've only made the Western Conference Finals. They can make another shot to go to the NBA championship. So, what do you guys think the direction for the Portland Trailblazers should be? And I'm going to start first. I think that there's going to be some huge trade packages coming in for this number 3 pick. If you want, there's many names out there that have been surrounded around the number 3 pick for trade ups. But I think that the Portland Trailblazers need to keep this pick and get even more picks by trading Damian Lillard. This is not a destination anyone wants to go to. You're not going to pull from free agency. You're not going to say the Portland Trailblazers are an NBA championship caliber team, because you won't be able to get role players out there that's where half of their life is worrying about their family too. They're not just like superstars just wanting to win, right? These are humans that care about where they live too. So I think that Portland, it's time for them to reset, get some young pieces, and just do what OKC did. Trade away your superstars and stash up picks and let Damian Lillard have a chance to win a championship, because he has never had one. Go ahead, Ryan, you go ahead.
I personally want to see Lillard traded, but I feel like he and Portland Trailblazers are too loyal to each other. And then Portland's going to do everything in their power that they can to keep Lillard and try and trade that 3rd pick for another superstar around him. But I think in the end, there's not going to be a big player that is willing to go there, even in a trade. So I think they're going to end up having to move on from Damian Lillard, because they already have a good young core. They got Shaden Sharp, Anthony Simons. That can be a pretty young, good backcourt. Then if they keep this 3rd pick, Brandon Miller could potentially still be on the board.
Yep.
Then you get your small forward. They got Trendon Watford and Nasir Little. Like they still got a pretty young core. I mean, they got Matthias Thybulle now and Jeremy Grant, but
Could be key.
I
in the
find
future.
if they move Lillard,
Grant's
I think
gone.
Grant will have to be gone.
Timeline, Nurkic, he's got to get over there.
Yeah.
How
He's
useless
been there
has he been
forever.
for how many years?
Dude, he's been there since like 2015.
Yeah, he's but
doing nothing.
I think they have, I think, the hardest decision to make in the off season, because it's you're moving on from your franchise guy
who you've had forever.
or it's you're trying to move the 3rd pick, which is a very valuable pick in the draft, for another superstar, which I potentially could still see a Siakam trade to Portland. I mean, that's just a long shot, but I think it's a good trade for both sides if they make a pretty reasonable trade package. But
Yeah, well, I think personally, I just think they need to reset, because the West is so clogged right now. Like, it's crazy. Like with all the talent up and coming like teams too. Personally, I think Dame needs to leave, but I don't see him leaving. I just hard, because I think he's too loyal to Portland, I find, and I think that him and the organization, like you said, I just think that bond is almost too strong, to the point where I feel like he's just gonna stay, and it might honestly end up backfiring for Portland. Like, they're obviously still gonna be a decent team if Dame's on the team, because he's a really good player, but I think that they need to move off of him and try and recoup assets and rebuild the team.
Go ahead.
I agree with you guys, but I think it's up to Dame.
Yeah.
If he wants to stay, like he wants to stay, you can't do anything about it.
Mhm.
But I want to see him gone. Like I want to see him
Yeah.
on the team like the Heat maybe.
Sounds
Like
like
I'm actually
flight.
being serious. Though. I'm actually being serious. Like it would make sense.
Team like
Yeah.
the Heat.
But going off of Ryan saying the Siakam trade,
Yeah, go ahead.
that would actually I've actually seen like real like rumors about that. Like people actually talking about it. It would make sense. Like the Raptors send like Siakam like the 13th pick to
Okay.
Portland, and the Raptors get like Anthony Simons, maybe like the third pick obviously, and both sides just kind of went off of that. But like I said, it's just up to Dame. If he wants to stay, he wants to stay. But if he wants to go, then he wants to go.
So we're just gonna shoot names quickly and then agree, disagree, whatever. One destination you'd like to see Damian Lillard traded to. Go.
Obviously, I think the best one would be Heat.
Heat.
I think Heat.
Yeah.
It's like I wouldn't say automatic another championship. I mean, the East is kind of weaker than the West, but I think that'd be a great spot for him. But I know Brooklyn isn't a bad spot. I know they're still little ways away, but I think Heat's an obvious one. I mean, you saw that Instagram live of the Celtics.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the Celtics would be a pretty sick spot, but I just don't really see that happening there. So I think it's just Heat to me.
That's
Okay.
I was literally gonna say Celtics, but like I don't
Celtics.
really see. It'd be like kind of a long shot, but I think I could see a trade, Dame and potentially Jaylen Brown. I wouldn't I know Jaylen Brown's deal's almost up, but
What's
I could definitely see that
what's
happening.
ideal here for the Celtics trade? Are we saying Jaylen Brown?
And more.
And more?
obviously, I think. You know what? I think one for
Jaylen
one
Brown,
is pretty
Smart,
similar
and
value.
picks.
I feel like Portland wouldn't really want Smart though, because
No.
he's just
Yeah.
kind of like.
But like it's always when a superstar gets traded, they always trade that one veteran guy,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I feel like it'd be definitely Jaylen Brown
Yeah,
if they were to get Dame. So what's a destination for you?
probably like the Heat, Celtics, just a team that has like an average point guard who is good at their role, but obviously you would take Dame because he's good at playmaking and he can give you 30 a night, and he's just a lethal weapon. So I would just say probably the Heat or Celtics.
I've got a destination. How about the New Orleans Pelicans? Reunite
it.
with CJ McCollum. Depending what the Pelicans are thinking, Ingram or Zion, you maybe take one of them and you just say, screw it, we're going to go for it.
Trade
And
them?
you got to trade. If you're getting Dame, you got to let one of them go. Right?
Who though?
You got Trey Murphy, Herb Jones, CJ McCollum, Alvarado. There's so much talent on this roster for going for it to get Dame. Maybe the Portland in their rebuild, they're going to want to reset Zion Williamson. Who knows? Who's a very hot topic right now, but I'm not trying to get demonetized, baby. Anyways, New Orleans Pelicans. Do you hate it? Do you like it?
I think the if Dame were to go to Portland to New Orleans,
Yeah.
I think they got to figure out Zion's situation
Yep.
first, because if he continues to stay hurt and isn't healthy enough to play, I think he's going to be untradeable, because no one's going to be willing to even want to take a chance on him. Because especially Portland, if you're trading your main guy who's been with you since day one, since the draft, and you're trading him for a guy in Zion who may not even be able to play a full season, then you're just trading and getting a guy who you're not even going to end up going on a championship run or at all, because he won't even touch the court.
From a slight Pelicans fan yourself,
Yeah. Well, if we were having this conversation a lot, like next year, I think it would be a lot different. It's so hard. Like, if I'm the
Obviously.
Pelicans, give Zion one more year. I'm not trading for Dame.
Yeah.
If you were the Pelicans and the Trailblazers come to you and say, we want Zion for Damian Lillard, are you saying yes or are you saying no?
Right now, I'm saying no.
If you're the Pelicans,
If
you're
I'm
saying no?
Same as me. Yeah.
Yeah, if I'm the
If
Pelicans, I'm
Portland
saying
calls you and you're the Pelicans GM and says, I want Zion Williamson and we'll give you Damian Lillard, are you saying yes or no?
Personally, I'm saying yes. Like,
Me too.
honestly, because if you Lillard and McCollum, when they were in Portland, they did that run, but they just didn't have no support with them. And then you'll give them support with Valanciunas, Ingram, Herb Jones, Trey Murphy. It's a good 6-man, one of those. Like, I think it's a good fit, but personally, I don't think that would happen. But if it did come across, I think Pelicans take that, no question.
It makes sense.
That's a
but
championship roster.
Yeah.
It is.
No, I agree, but you can't just like trade Zion away.
You're not giving up yet?
Not yet. They only drafted him like what,
Me neither.
4 years ago, and people forget 2 years ago, like 2021, like that season, he played a lot and he averaged like 27, and he was an All-Star.
Yeah.
I feel like right now, just because he's hurt, trading him is not the answer. I would wait and see what happens.
Yeah. I do like that scenario where Trey Murphy steps into the 4 for Zion and they have Dame at point guard.
Okay.
I think that'd be a crazy good team. But realistically, if Zion next year, if he figures it out, that team's going to be potentially a fucking dynasty. Like, they have incredible pieces, a bunch of young pieces. Zion, Herb Jones, Trey Murphy, and then you got the veteran guys too. I think it's a really good team. Maybe not a dynasty, maybe that's a bit too far, but since they haven't fucking won a playoff round. But, you know.
Dynasty.
I take back the
I'm
comments.
gonna go no on Dynasty, but I'm gonna go Zion Williamson's probably a top player to watch next season. Sorry,
Yep.
because that's gonna decide one of the biggest prospects ever's future in the New Orleans Pelicans' future. Moving on, we're gonna go into some would you rathers, and we're gonna start with would you rather Mikal Bridges. All right, I'm gonna start with you, and then we're gonna go to Jay and Ryan.
Okay.
Bradley Beal.
Now, Bridges is younger, and he did really well against Philly, but I just feel like Bradley Beal, like a couple years ago, I think Beal was averaging like 30 a couple years ago, and he's been kind of like hurt, and people just kind of sleep on him. So right now, I'm taking Bradley Beal.
Better player, Bradley Beal, I think.
I think it's closer than people think, but like Bradley Beal is getting slept on, like you said. He can still easily go out there and change a game, just because he's more veteran in the league. I think I'm going back Bradley Beal right now, but if you were to ask me this question in just 5 years, I think I'm going Mikal Bridges just because he's a two-way player. Like he can strap you up, no question, and then the buckets that he was giving in his time with the Nets, like he's a tough player.
Right now, I'm going to go Mikal Bridges. I think he'll be an all-star next year. The ceiling is definitely higher. He will be a great player, but you saw with Brooklyn, he got absolutely unlocked. Phoenix, he was just a corner sitter, and he'd guard
Defender.
first or second best player. This guy is putting up combo moves at the top of the key and making jump shots, fadeaway threes. Like, he's doing all this stuff that nobody saw coming.
Expecting, yeah.
I think Mikal Bridges, if you give him a couple more years, he's gonna unlock to almost I don't want to say elite player, but definitely an all-star. What are you smirking at?
You're taking him over Bradley Beal.
Yeah.
Yes.
I feel the same way. Like,
Is that crazy?
obviously it's nice to gamble on potential, but you can't say that. Bradley Beal's been averaging like 25 and 5 for what? How many years? He's been like the Wizards' number one, basically in a team. If they didn't have him, they would be the worst team in the league.
You gotta put some respect on John Wall's name first of all, because he was there too with Bradley Beal.
Well, yeah,
But what has Bradley Beal accomplished with the Wizards while averaging a 25, 5, and 5? I think.
Exactly.
Hold on. Mikal Bridges obviously has longer, right, of a career. I think if he just he's only getting better and better. We know what Bradley Beal is, obviously. Bridges is just going to keep getting better and better and better. I think Bridges, you put him with another, which at the time superstar like John Wall was, I think they could maybe have a finals appearance, which the Wizards didn't. I just think that right now Mikal Bridges has overtaken Bradley Beal. Bradley Beal won't ever be an all-star again. He won't.
If he goes to a different team, I think so.
If Bradley Beal gets traded, you
Yeah,
think he'll be an all-star?
He's in a toxic environment right now. The Wizards is like,
I would say it's not his fault that he's on Washington and that
Yeah.
like no one just watches Washington play.
The Wizards are just
in no man's land because Bradley Beal, I think they will extremely benefit off of Bradley Beal trade, and I think if he does get traded to a good spot, he will be one of the high talked about players in the league again. I think just being in a terrible Washington team, I think that's what's making him getting slept on because you can't, like, especially him, like, you're not going to tell him to go out there and get you 6 threes a game, but I think with him being surrounded by no one extremely good, he's been kind of getting held back. So that's why, like, right now I'm still taking Beal over Bridges.
Yep.
Okay.
I do agree with all the points you made, though. I do think he will be better at the end of next year because he was insane. Like when he went to the Nets and he finally had an opportunity, he was insane.
That's respectable, and also the Wizards, they can't draft for the life of them. They can't draft Corey Kispert, Rui Hachimura, Denny Avila. The list goes on and on and on. It's just getting ridiculous. Who did they draft this year? Does anyone know? Can you fact check that for me?
Yeah.
Who they drafted this year?
I think they're top 10, but I don't know.
It's probably going to be someone who's probably playing overseas already, and it's been their rookie year. So Bradley Beal obviously hasn't gotten help, but I don't know. We shall see what type of player
I've never heard of this
he
guy.
forms into.
10th overall. Johnny Davis.
Oh, the guard from
Never heard of
Kentucky?
Wisconsin.
Wisconsin.
Never heard
Don't
of
know
him.
who he is.
I know the name, but he didn't play for them this year.
Yeah, Johnny Davis, Corey Kispert, Denny Avdia, Hachimura, Troy Brown Jr.
Who's on the Lakers?
This isn't even Jeremy Grant. This is Jerry and Grant. Never heard of that. Casual. Otto Porter.
Junior?
2013. That they haven't drafted anyone
Okay,
good
let's
since Bradley
just
Beal.
finish with this Wizards because people are probably falling
Yeah.
asleep.
Yeah, that's true. I agree. This makes me a
Second
bit
player,
sleepy.
Andrew Wiggins.
Wait, who? Like Bridges or Wiggins?
Bridges or Wiggins?
Keep it simple. Mikal Bridges.
Same.
Definitely. I mean, like, I don't want to say definitely like I'm saying it's like a complete obvious, but
Yeah.
I think Mikal Bridges is,
You're going Bridges, both of you?
if you go out there and ask a guy,
Who's the better
give
player?
me a bucket, I think Bridges will score more times
They're both-
than Wiggins.
They're definitely both elite defenders, same position. I think Bridges does have the better offensive bag, and I am, as a Warriors guy, I'm going to go Mikal Bridges on this one.
I think I agree, and like the reason I'm saying that is because we saw Wiggins on Minnesota, where he kind of had like his own team.
Yeah,
He wasn't really able to do anything.
in his first years, but
Yeah, but Bridges on his own team, like against Philly, he was averaging what 20
numbers.
Yeah, like that's just
And for him, it clicked so fast too. Like that, Wiggins had so much more time than he's had already, and I think Bridges has shown more. So
Next name, Zach LaVine. I'll go first. Mikal Bridges.
probably taking Zach.
I'll say Bridges, slightly.
I don't know. It's tough, but
hard one.
but because Levine is still a scorer, he's still a good player.
Bucket.
Not all-star level, I don't think anymore, but I still think he's a bucket. But I think I'm leaning Mikal Bridges just because of his better two-way ability. Like if I'm taking a player, I'm taking Mikal Bridges probably. So
Rebuttal.
So I would take Bridges. Well, Bridges because he's younger, but Zach, like, I don't really watch Bulls games. Like, no one really watches Bulls games. But what I saw him do against the Raptors in that play-in tournament, they were down the entire time, and in that third quarter, Levine just came out and hit like 3 straight
Lit it
threes,
up.
and he was just making
Fire.
everything. And he's old, but he's not like old. You know what I mean? Like he could still give you solid numbers for like a few years.
In a
so.
couple of years, he's getting up there, but I feel,
Yeah.
I think Levine, he's had a couple of injury concerns recently, but I feel like you said, two-way overall player. I'm taking Mikal Bridges. He can get you now. If you're talking last year, Levine honestly clears Bridges, but now that you've seen what Bridges can do, he can get you a bucket and ISO. Obviously, shoot the three well, which Levine can't do completely well.
The 3?
The three, not super well. He shoots a lot of them, and he's probably high 30s, and which is all right. But I feel like Bridges is the better 3-point shooter, and I think he is better offensively and defensively. I don't want to say offensively.
No,
I want to say Levine's better offensively, but
offensively,
defensively, Bridges is
clears,
clearing. Yeah. Okay, next name. Chris Middleton.
It's kind of hard. I got to think about this one.
I'll
Go on.
take if this was Middleton from last year, I would probably take Middleton, but he didn't really do much this year. Obviously, I think he was hurt. Yeah, he's getting old. I'm taking Bridges.
Yeah. This one's tough because Middleton, I mean, you don't know how bad his injuries are going to get throughout the years. I mean, obviously, Middleton can go out there and give you serious buckets and serious points, but I think Mikal Bridges is he's just unlocked so much to my eyes that I find that if you give me a full season of Mikal Bridges, I think he could honestly be an all-star, and I think I'll take Mikal Bridges over Middleton. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with that. But I thought about it because Chris Middleton, like the year that the Bucks won, he was actually really good for them. Good score. He was actually solid at defense too. But I think Bridges is just younger, and if I was to start my own franchise, I would want him Bridges just because he's younger.
Right now, I am going to go. I'm going to go Mikal Bridges right now. Yeah, I think he's overpassed Chris Middleton. Chris Middleton had some pretty good days when they won the championship with the Bucks, but right now I'm going to take Mikal Bridges respectfully. Two more names here. OG Anunoby.
I feel like I'm taking OG. I'm not just saying that because I'm a Raptors fan, but I just feel like OG, like he's peaked a lot of games with the Raptors, and he hasn't even had a chance to play on like his own team. Yeah. I feel like if he had his own team, he would be a really good player, all-star maybe. And yeah, I'm just gonna take OG.
Go Jay.
I'm gonna say Bridges. I'm just no explanation.
Yeah.
Let's just go through these last couple.
Yeah, I still think Bridges because I don't think with OG Anunoby, like I could ask him to go combo up and give me a nice bucket. I mean, obviously I'm overlooking things with the offense there, but I think they're kind of the same two-way player. Honestly, like they're pretty similar, but I think Mikal Bridges has more upside, and I think I'm just going to keep it simple and go short and go Mikal Bridges.
I'm going to go Mikal Bridges. They do the same thing, but Bridges better offensively. Last name. I want this one as a projection. Jalen Green. Jay, I'm going to start with you.
Jalen Green's... I'm going to take Bridges. It's not super close for me either.
It's not?
At the moment.
I'm going to have to agree with that. Just Jalen Green is just... He's on Houston, and he's had good games, but just not doing it a lot. And I just don't see him being put on his own team and doing that type of stuff.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to have to sway away from that. I'm going to go Jalen Green. I think he's just so explosive that when he gets a proper coach and coaching, and I think develops throughout the league to get into more of a complete guard, because right now I think Mikal Bridges is a little better, but I think when Jalen Green develops, I think he can become a serious threat point guard in this league. I think he's getting too overlooked with that brutal Rockets team that they got going. It's a young team, it's a mess, but I think if they control it, Jalen Green might shock some people, even next year, I think.
I'm going to go Jalen Green. Mikal Bridges has been under some very, very good coaching. Monty Williams and Jack Vaughn, I think, was over with the Nets, but Jalen Green, as of projection-wise, I'm going to go Jalen Green. I think that he can be Anthony Edwards-like player. Very explosive scorer from all three levels. He, out of the G League, I believe, yeah, I think he has all the tools to be very, very good in this league, and I think that projection-wise, I'm going to go Jalen Green, but it's going to have to take a couple of things to go right for him to project better than Mikal Bridges because he hasn't had the best start to his career. Mm-hmm. So put that mic in between the middle of you guys, and we're going to go into the last segment. We're going to go into some NFL stuff, and we're just going to go around the table quickly. And Dalvin Cook was released by the Minnesota Vikings. I just want to hear everyone's favorite to get him and reasoning. I'm gonna start personally, and I'm gonna go with the Miami Dolphins. Makes too much sense. The backfield has a lot, but there's just too much going around. Dalvin Cook played at Florida State. He obviously wants to go back there. It's just a matter of time when, and I think now he can still be a workhorse back, but I think starting on the decline of his career, I think it'll be good to mix and match him with a chain. Mostert will be in there, Wilson a little bit, etc.
I think the only potential spot really is the Dolphins. I think it's either Dolphins or he takes a really, really cheap deal somewhere, but I don't think he's willing to just take a super cheap deal, so I think the Dolphins are really the only spot for him. I was actually kind of shocked that he was actually released. I guess the only reason why is to free up more money for Justin Jefferson, because obviously he's going to get a max deal, but I still think Dalvin Cook, the past couple of years he's been playing on one shoulder, he's been battling some issues, but I still think if he can come back as a healthy back, he's still one of the top backs in the league, and I just think the Dolphins are too obvious of a spot for him.
Yeah, well, firstly I want to say I can't believe no one wanted to trade for him. This is a guy who's put up 1,000 yards, I think, 3 years in a row. He's proven that he can be a workhorse back, even despite the injuries. And he's obviously slowed down a bit, but I can't believe no one threw the Vikings like a day 3 pick for him. So in terms of my destination, I like the fit in Miami. I think Miami's pretty obvious as of right now. But if I were to go with a dark horse place, I would go with the Bills. And I think since his brother's there, and they're contenders. So
get into the mic
Yeah.
a little bit. Give me why. Give
Yeah.
me a reason.
I just feel like his brother being there.
yeah,
He's just a young player, but having his brother who has experience.
Talking.
Alright.
You're good.
Having his brother there who has
Yeah.
lots more of experience, he could just kind of teach him, and just having that as like a lethal combo, the backfield.
Pause.
That'd be tough.
yeah.
So, for the people watching, to provide some context, we've got a Bills fan here, and we've got the number one Bills hater here / Dolphins fan. So, Joey, get into this mic quickly and give us your Dalvin Cook destination quickly.
Well, I was going to say the Bills as well, but a dark horse. Well, the obvious one's the Dolphins, but like a team I want to see him go to is the Bills. But a dark horse for me would be the Bears. I just feel like
Okay.
another speed option in the backfield to pair him with Khalil Herbert.
Fields.
Yeah, Fields. I mean, just adding speed to that offense, which they already added to this year, could put them over the top.
Is there a possibility at all that Dalvin Cook just re-signs with the Vikings for cheap?
You could. I mean,
Is that a possibility?
I think it's either Dolphins or what that cheap deal is. I think
He just goes
the
back
only
there.
other option is back to Minnesota.
Minnesota does not have a running back one right now. They don't.
yeah. People are trying to say Madison can
No,
take
no,
over
no,
the
no,
workload,
no.
but because he's had like a few 100-yard games when Cook's been out, but he's played garbage run defenses.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, I know. I
Okay,
agree.
so Bills/Bears. What did you say? Bills and.
I said Bills. I think Miami's the heavy favorite right now, though.
Okay.
Straight Dolphins, baby.
Straight Dolphins. I'm with him. I think the Dolphins, even though I don't want him to go there at all. And we're going to go into the last topic of this episode. We are going to do one more Would You Rather. Would you rather Tua Tagovailoa? And
Here we go.
I want answers and explanations for these names that we're following.
Good thing I'm on this side of the table. I'm
And
the only one that'll defend them.
The first name, we're going to start off hot. We're going to go, would you rather Russell Wilson? I'm going to go to Joey.
Shit.
Into the
I
mic.
mean, yeah, at this point to his career and where Russell Wilson's at, I mean, as a Broncos fan, it's hard, but I would go Tua. He's obviously more accurate. I don't. They both. I mean, Wilson's he's more durable. Tua he does get injured a lot, but I would go Tua.
Yeah,
Jay.
I say Tua as well.
Well, I would say Tua, but I'm actually on a bright for Russell Wilson next season. Like, I know, but I
He is
think
gonna pop off.
I think I will go
Shut up.
Tua Tagovailoa, but I think it might be close because we're that Seattle Russell Wilson. Like, even towards the end of his career, he was still good in Seattle, and I feel like even Sean Payton with 40-year-old Drew Brees was still making playoffs and putting up numbers. But I think I'm going Tua Tagovailoa, but I think it's after next season. I think it's going to be very, very close.
So this is obviously unexpected. I was not expecting that, but I'm gonna go. Sorry, voice crack. Damn, almost 19 of the voice crack. I'm gonna go Russell Wilson. I'm seeing a bounce back here. Not an absolute monstrous MVP season, but I'm seeing a bounce back where he can get back to a top 15 reasonable, top 15, top 12
Yeah.
range. I see that in Russell Wilson.
Gino's being top 12 and 15 after one good year.
Yeah, so we're going to get into the next name. We're going to go... Sorry. Apologies.
Now, I am a Tua hater, and I don't like him, but I'm taking Tua just based off of last year.
Damn.
Yep.
I feel like Wilson could have a better season, but
Right now, you're rather Tua?
Yeah.
Okay. Next name. Keep that mic. Josh Allen.
Josh, and he clears by a mile.
Joey.
And no one should be thinking here.
Josh Allen, it's not too much of a
Yeah,
debate.
I'll take Josh Allen.
I will go Josh Allen, but
Okay.
I think
Huge butt.
potentially after next season we could be saying Tua Tagovailoa. I mean, Josh Allen has some work to do still. He's got to clean up his
Turnovers.
turnovers, ball protection. He's got to start to clean some things up.
Attitude.
But obviously, as a whole quarterback, I think Josh Allen almost clears, but it could be very close eventually.
Here, I want to throw out a point quick.
I'm going to take Josh Allen, just
Okay.
for the record.
The Dolphins had the Bills on the ropes in the wild card round with Skylar Thompson at quarterback.
Mhm.
If Tua was in that game, I think they would have won. I'm just saying that. I think Tua's being written off just because of his injuries, but when he's been in the game, he was amazing last year.
So, do you agree with Ryan's point? If Tua has a full healthy season
Yeah.
and the Dolphins are very successful, are we talking Tua over Josh
It's gonna
Allen?
be hard to dethrone Allen right now, but if Allen continues with turnovers, I think he had the most turnovers in the league as a quarterback this year. If he does that again and he repeats, I think it's potentially a conversation. If Tua plays like he did all last year, doesn't get hurt, plays the whole season, I think it's definitely a conversation.
After these names, we're going to kind of put Tua in a category of quarterbacks so we know where he has to get to. Next name, Daniel Jones.
We're going Tua Tagovailoa.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, same.
I think minus the scrambling ability that Daniel Jones has taken over a lot of. I think Tua Tagovailoa is just a whole better quarterback. Anything you think Daniel Jones is good at, I think you can just come back and say Tua Tagovailoa is better than that at minus scrambling what I said. But no, I think I don't think it's too close, to be honest.
Me, I would go Tua. For Daniel Jones, he doesn't have any weapons really other than Saquon of the backfield. I mean, you're right, Ryan. Tua does do most better than him. Daniel Jones, he just can scramble better, and he does have the arm strength. But I would take Tua just as a game manager over Daniel Jones.
I'm taking Tua. I just with Jones, he just didn't really have he had a solid season last year, but I'm pretty sure he didn't really do well a year before that. Just kind of, so I don't feel like he was going to keep that up. I just Tua has just a better future in front of him.
Yeah, so Daniel Jones with Isaiah Hodgins as the wide receiver, number one, won a playoff game, and I'm going to go Daniel Jones. I think having the bigger frame, less durable, I think it's better for him going down the line. And right now, Daniel Jones is better than Tua because he's proven to win a playoff game. Yet Tua has gotten his team to the playoffs, not won a playoff game though yet himself, but he's gotten his team in the position. I'm going to say that Daniel Jones is better right now. It's a outstretch hypothetical, but if you put him with Waddle, Hill, and the Dolphins offense, I think he is.
I don't think he's better.
You don't think he's pure talent? He's not better?
I think Miami asked Tua to do way more than New York asked Daniel Jones to do. Daniel Jones relied so heavily on Saquon. It's crazy. Obviously, he's your best player in the offense, but I don't see Daniel Jones being able to do what Tua can do in Miami.
You don't think Mike McDaniel took a lot of pressure off of Tua in that offense with the reads, the RPOs, and the quick throws to get him out? There were some obviously long shots down the field, but do you not think Mike McDaniel had a huge impact on Tua?
I think if anything, it more was with his confidence than him turning him into a better player. Because you could see when it was him and Brian Flores, defensive-minded coach, he didn't really have much help on that side of the ball, and he was kind of lacking confidence and stuff. And I think Mike McDaniel coming in, really helping him work through the offense and stuff, and obviously adding Hill helps too. But I think the main thing for him this year was his confidence and being sure in his decision-making.
I don't know what too much else to put, but I think it's getting it seems like it's biased, but
what are you taking that Tua? Why Tua's currently better than Daniel Jones?
His obviously his accuracy is the bigger thing. I mean, he can scramble, but obviously not as good as Daniel Jones. But I think Tua just being more of a better quarterback with vision. I think he sees and anticipates more things than Daniel Jones, which is always a good thing. But yeah, he maybe anticipates too much. But I think just the whole future of both these quarterbacks, I think Tua hasn't fully been unlocked, and I think Daniel Jones, I don't know what much more he can do to be better than what he is, other than obviously get more help on receiver, which will help boost his stats. But
yeah. I just think that Daniel Jones, his physical attributes take off a lot of pressure, what he can't do mechanically.
Yeah.
I think the scrambling and the big chunk plays of him running, getting the read options and stuff, and obviously Saquon taking a huge load off of Daniel Jones's work is a big reason why he has been more successful. And Brian Dable, who has been a huge help, who they took from the Bills, who ended up developing Josh Allen into a star QB, and maybe Daniel Jones we'll see in a couple years. Next name, Jordan Love. Jay.
Oh, that's a no-brainer, Tua. I can't put...
It's Tua. He clears him.
Tua.
I don't know.
He hasn't played a season yet. You can't say he's better than
I know. Based off sample size, I'm gonna go Tua, but Jordan Love, I think he does have the ceiling to be great. Not all-time great, but I think he can be a very successful NFL QB. But I'm going Tua Tagovailoa at the moment. Next name, Geno Smith. I know you hate the Seahawks, but let's see it.
This one's pretty close, but I would take Tua as of right now.
Joe?
I mean, I hate the Seahawks, obviously. I mean, Geno Smith, he just had one, year where he just finally did good.
Right now,
surprisingly.
who are you taking?
But I'm taking Tua right now.
I have to agree with that. He just had one good season, and Tua's just better right now.
Wow. Everyone took Tua? Oh, wait, did you get in?
He
I
doesn't
mean-
need to answer anymore.
I don't think I need to answer that. I think it's Tua. I think
Clearing or no?
not clearing because you can say because Geno took that Seahawks team to the playoffs last year, but I think Tua is just a better quarterback than Geno. Honestly, minus the injuries, but we'll see next season. To be honest,
I'm gonna go Tua. He definitely makes the better reads, and Geno is very sometimes careless, which doesn't really show up a lot, but he is when you watch him. Last name, like the last one, a wild card, Bryce Young. Sorry, Joey.
I mean, at this moment, I have to say Tua.
Wow.
Is this a rookie that just got drafted?
You don't have to answer. It's fine.
Well, I think Bryce Young's gonna be super good, but you can't say
Next
he's better
year,
because he
who's
plays
gonna have a
snap.
better season?
Next year, better
Projection.
season, Tua by a mile. Bryce Young is nobody. That offense is brutal. They got Adam Thielen, wide receiver 1.
Okay.
But I do think he will be really good.
I'm a big Bama guy. I know Bryce Young is going to be good, but Tua, I think this next season is meant for him. I think next season he's going to like double Bryce Young's stats and everything.
So, in Tua's current quarterback range, where would we have him right now? 15 to 17, 12,
I'd put him higher than
Way
that.
higher. Or
What?
Not way.
12 to 15,
I'd say like
10?
I would
Is
put
that good?
he's on the same level as guys like I would put him above Geno, but I would say Geno.
Can you give me a
Goff,
give me a
Kirk Cousins
quarterbacks
right
list,
now.
and I'm gonna search
I would
them
say
up.
he's pretty close.
I'm
to
gonna
there,
write
like-
them down. Who we're taking?
I would say he's like 10 to 12.
Wherever Dak is, that's Tua range.
Yeah, Dak's
Yeah?
like the top of that range. And
Okay, Jared Goff or Tua?
Me personally, well, I'm biased, but I'd take Jared Goff.
What are you taking?
Yeah,
Joey, what are you taking? Goff or
Jared.
Tua?
I'm taking Tua.
Okay.
Tua.
I'm gonna go Jared Goff.
Thank
Both
you.
game managers,
Thank you.
but I think Jared Goff is smarter player, bigger frame. He can get you the ball out quicker.
Yeah.
Okay,
Alright.
let's go. Give me names. Mahomes.
Mahomes, Allen, Burrow,
Yeah.
Herbert, Rodgers, Lamar, Jalen Hurts, Lawrence, Kirk Cousins. I don't know if you want to put him in.
I would say
Mahomes,
that's
Allen,
his-
Burrow,
You could
Rodgers,
potentially
Lamar,
place him at
Herbert.
9, I think.
Herbert.
Jalen Hurts,
Yep.
Did you say
Lawrence,
Yep.
That's 8, right?
yeah, Dak.
See, I say he.
What
could
about
put him at
Stafford?
9.
What do you think?
Stafford's,
This is hard
Stafford's
now.
hard, but
This is
I,
an
I would personally, I would take Stafford because he like
Because
when
you're
he
a
was
biased
healthy-
Lions fan. Yeah.
No, he literally won the Super Bowl.
All right,
the
I'd
year
say
before.
Watson's better, or will be better.
What's your opinion?
I think obviously Watson, if he comes back, because Houston Watson clears Tua. Houston Watson's definitely a top 5 quarterback in the league. So if he can find that back, I think we'll put him above.
4, 5, 6, 7. That's 8 names. That are we saying 100%?
Mm-hmm.
100%.
Yeah.
That's why 10 range is probably a good fit. For
That's
him,
what I was
I'd say like 10 to 13,
Yeah.
anywhere from there.
There's a
So-
lot of interchangeable guys.
I think
in
you
that
got to put
range.
Kyler Murray on that list.
Do you agree with that?
I think Kyler Murray over Tua as a whole.
I think
Okay.
he's a good player, but I don't think he's a very bad leader.
So that's
in my
10,
opinion.
and then you go, say you put Dak, so Murray and Dak 10 and 11, right? So what is it? It's like Tua, Geno,
But I
Daniel
would say-
Jones, Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, but-
all those
Yeah,
guys
he's
are just
better
in
than
one
that.
big
They're
pool.
below.
Guys, you could
Yeah?
argue. You could still argue Murray and Dak though.
Goff
I would
still.
say 10 to 15. A lot of those guys are interchangeable.
Yeah, so I think the hierarchy is Mahomes, Burrow.
on his own level.
Mahomes obviously on his own. Then I think the one level is Allen, Burrow.
Yeah.
And then you go to like Rodgers, Lamar, Lawrence, Herbert, and Hurts.
I think Hurts you can put in a
Nah.
Burrow and Allen range?
for sure.
Okay, so
I think so.
say you want to do that. And then it's Herbert, Rodgers, Lamar, Lawrence. That's fair in a tier. What do you want to put Watson in? Would you put him in there with Trevor Lawrence, or would you put him
No.
looming around with
It's too hard to
Tua?
tell. I'd put him in between that.
Kind of in his own.
Because Watson, Cleveland Watson isn't up there, but Houston Watson is for sure up there. That's why next season's a big season for him.
Yeah. So we kind of got right now. There's like 5 categories. So we have the Mahomes category, we have the Hurts, Burrow, and Allen category, and then all the superstar quarterbacks who can win your championship, but obviously not the elite level yet or used to be. Rodgers, Lamar, Herbert, Trevor Lawrence, and then you have kind of Watson in his own category. He can be in the Allen Burrow range, but right now he's unproven. Him in his own category, number 4, and then 5, Murray, Dak, Goff, Tua, Kirk Cousins,
yeah.
Geno Smith, Daniel Jones. Is that fair to say?
I think so.
That's fair.
I think it's
Yeah.
great.
And then at the worst range, you've got Davis Mills, Taylor Heineke, Desmond Mitter,
Oh shit.
Sam Howell.
Sam Howell.
Sam Howell's below.
Are we putting
Baker.
Russell Wilson in this fifth category?
No,
shut up.
that's
Or no?
Oh,
Are we
in the fifth?
in the fifth
category?
fifth,
You're saying
fifth
the
category?
worst
No, no, no. Like Murray,
No.
Dak,
Yeah.
Kirk Cousins,
not
Tua.
based off last season. I would say no. I would say he's just below that. He's fringe.
He's probably in his own, say, the Watson, but
The Watt.
below that.
He's got to. You know what he
It's
is,
still-
but he's
yeah,
got to prove it back again. Is that
Yeah.
fair?
Well, like during the season, he'll be at the top of the tier with like the guys you just named.
Murray, Dak.
Yeah.
Do you think he can be in like the Lawrence, Hurts, Herbert, Lamar, Rogers category again?
Oh no.
I'm gonna say yes.
On the record, Sean.
I'm gonna say yes.
Definitely can.
I think
Well, like he has
well,
the potential with Sean Payton, but
What would you like to say? Do you think Do you think Russell Wilson can be a top 10 quarterback again?
well, obviously he's proven it. It's just one bad season with Nathaniel Hackett clown show.
Yeah.
Can Wilson be
that
top 10?
goober. Top 10?
Yeah.
I mean, I think it would take a miracle.
Can he be
Top.
Can he be better than
Well,
than Aaron Rodgers this year?
I think.
Not
No,
that, but
no.
he could be. I mean,
Well,
he could be better than Dak,
Murray.
Yeah.
Kirk
Yeah.
Cousins,
Watson.
Derek Carr.
I think.
Watson.
I'm high on
like
Watson.
the
this
Broncos
year.
have good weapons when healthy with Sean Payton and improved O line, which the Broncos were the most sacked team last year.
Yeah. All right, so I think that's going to do it for episode 4 of the Alec Frengos Show. I hope you guys enjoyed. Overload of guests today, but that's completely fine. More to talk about, and we'll see you on the next episode.